Excuse me. Never go full tree. They say our bark is worse than our bite, but I have no idea what that means. All I know is there used to be a time where full-on tree blobs were very strong, but that time is long since past. The days of the Heal Bomb Death Star are over, and I fear that with this build, our protagonist can't see the forest for the trees. The seeds of victory have already been sown. Those thrice damned Tomb Kingers chopping down the shrubbery to make big-ass arrows. The forest is roused to wrath and ruin in response. Time for these invaders shall make like a tree and get out of here. How many tree puns will I make during the course of this video? Yes, all of them. And I gotta say it, this is a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Literally a full tree army. There are no Azrai whatsoever, so I can't call them Wood Elves. We'll call them Forest Spirits, and as you'd expect, it's Treebeard himself leading the herd. Durthu Oakheart, burning with the fury of Don Cheadle's Captain Planet.
Don't summon me again unless you're ready for that pain.
God, I love him so much. Anyway, this is getting really weird already, dude. Okay, so it's full Dryads, Treekin, Treemen, and the Firebark Elders, and they're going up against the Tomb King. So Arkhan the Black on his Pimp Chariot, bunch of Tomb Guard, Bone Giant in the background. Tomb Guard do not have halberds, so they're really not kitted out for taking down a Treeman, Ancient, or really any of the Forest Spirits except the Dryads, but that's where Spirit Leech and Buna come into play. Both are pretty good for cutting right through that physical resist and dealing reliable single target damage, and the Bone Giant is great for it too. Casket of Souls, on the other hand, not particularly good versus single entities, shooting another tree in front of it just to spite Durthu, but it is great versus Dryads, so as long as it doesn't camp out behind the forest the whole game and moves to a spot where it can actually hit stuff, could end up making a big impact here. I think it's okay versus Treekin as well, but the Ushabti Great Bows and the Bone Giant are really the big threats, and trees are not so good with motion, you know, so they won't do a great job of avoiding incoming firepower, and the Tomb Kings have a lot of it. Casket of Souls already raining down death from the heavens, and the Dryads will be the first in the Fire Arc, chosen of the gods Ushabti, tearing into them, and this approach is not going to be super fun for the Forest Spirits. They have a long road to cover. They got to go through a lot of water to get to where they're going. That will slow them down and allow this artillery outpouring to do a lot more damage as they cross the river. Bit of friendly fire from the Casket of Souls on the Nehekar Horsemen, but good shot coming in from the Bone Giant on Durthu. And I think this positioning from the Tomb King so far is impeccable. And overall, their army is certainly a more balanced one. They've got Skeleton Chariots harrying the flanks, Nehekar Horsemen on the right flank of the Forest Spirit battle line. Bone Giant still firing in, and Tomb King summons, the Skelly Boys, are going to get really annoying because Arkhan the Black is already popping his first one, putting that on cooldown, and getting ready to cast his second as soon as it's available. So Nehekar and Horsemen are looking for Dryads in charge. They're already down to about half HP. Good shot on the Dryads in the center. They are Silver Chevron, so a bit more expensive than your typical infantry. And I really like this play. Summons charging out to meet the Treemen head on to try and force out a blob, which the artillery can really punish well. Meanwhile, Fate of Boring from Arkhan the Black, cast on the Treekin. Actually really curious how much damage that'll do. It's usually ideal against targets in the 36 to 60 model count range, but it's racking up some nasty effects on those Treekin. And though the Chosen of the Gods are usually better against infantry, they still have the accuracy to put a whooping on the more expensive Forest Spirits here, so they're not exactly helping the situation anymore. Bone Giant still firing into Durthu in the background, and a Treeman, a jolly green giant, bringing osteoporosis to all the little bone children. It's like Christmas. He comes bearing gifts, and the legions cannot stand in front of that Ancient. He's gonna smash them apart. Roots, tendrils, ripping and tearing. Skeleton legions are gonna get pushed backwards, and he'll push right on through, and if he's smart, go straight for those Chosen of the Gods and try to shut them down. Transformation of Kadon, Manticore has already gotten on top of the Casket of Souls, and one thing I will say about this Tomb King's formation, it doesn't look like there's a lot in the back to kind of ward off these kind of backline dives. So, to be fair, the Azrai, or the Forest Spirits, don't have a lot of mobility, so that Transformation of Kadon is really the only way they have to get easily into the back line, but still, Sword of Daith, Flock of Doom, really good combination, gonna melt everything on this right flank. I think the Tomb Kings need to get some Legion unit in the background just to help out that Casket of Souls so it can dive behind them and get a little bit more protection. But it looks like that Transformation of Kadon Manticore is already attacking the back of the infantry. So Casket of Souls is fine to just scoot on. Now that tree man is getting destroyed by the Chosen of the Gods. Holy crap, he was full HP like a minute ago. Already down to about a third at this point, and there's not a lot of heals that can go his way. There is a Branch Wraith with Earthblood, but that's the only heal, and it won't get him very much. So Durthu carving apart Nahakar Horsemen, as is his wont to do. The Firebark Elders in the center, beating up on Tomb Guard real nicely. And already, the Tree Man has routed, and he didn't even finish off that skeleton unit, so that's a pretty bad trade. Chosen of the Gods are surprising me here. I've never really thought of them as good versus single entities, but already they've melted 2 units of the Wood Elves as they've charged in. So the Firebark Elders beating up on Tomb Guard with the help of the Branch Wraith. This should definitely go their way. But the issue the Forest Spirits are facing is that besides Durthu, nothing on their battle lines provides a lot of DPS. The Branch Wraith didn't bring any damage spells whatsoever, so we won't be seeing any Penumbral Pendulums. Carving through the legions of the Khemri Ka, not a particularly easy thing to do when you're talking about defensive units like the Firebark Elders, who have really high melee defense but not very impressive melee attack. Skeleton Chariots are still being annoying, just moving around, beating up on Durthu with the help of the Bone Giant and the Chosen of the Gods. Even the Casket of Souls all firing this way. Now, Ushabti Summon coming in the rear, and it looks like they're going to try to beat up on the Treekin as they get a full surround off on Durthu. And this could get really bad for the Oakheart himself. He's tied down at the moment. Arkhan the Black is just stuffing him up with the Chariot, which is typically not where you'd want him, but with the HP differential there, might be worth it, and it's keeping Durthu stuck in place as the artillery continues to rain down on him. More Chariots charging into the Dryads, who were trying to get at that Casket of Souls. The Roomba of Doom is still relatively safe. Another Feral Manticore coming in with Transformation of Kadon, though, and there are 2 options here, well 3. Go for Arkhan the Black, go for the Casket of Souls, go for the Bone Giant. We'll see what he does. On this side, Treekin fighting out with Nahakar Horsemen. They are tanky enough to survive that, and it looks like the Tree Man had just enough speed to get some distance from those legions of skeletons and come back to the fight. So, without anything on that side, might not be easy to rout him with those infantry. Durthu going straight in, another Sword of Death, lowering the armor, dealing damage in an AoE. Arkhan the Black is safely in the midst of his skeleton chariots, though, so Durthu can't easily attack him, and I don't think he's going to land any attacks in this duel. He's going to rout. Even getting hit by the curse from Arkhan the Black, who is beginning to drop a little bit low. I guess he did land 1 or 2. Branch Wraith is behind him. They're just trying to push through all skeleton chariots, man. They can't quite do it. Bone Giant shoots Durthu in the shin, puts him down to 40 HP, and he's gonna nope the hell on out of there, make like a tree, and branch. I don't like how close that Bone Giant is to the melee grind, though. I think he has enough left on the field to throw a few units in and allow that Necrolith Colossus to get a bit more space, maybe back up a bit more up on top of that hill, get a bit more time to fire in with those bonus versus large magic missiles, which is by far the best tool the Tomb Kings have for cutting these trees down to size. So I'd like to see him trying to get away from those Firebark Elders if he can. Use those Skeleton Legions that were just summoned from Arkhan the Black to tie him up, stuff him up, and give him a bit more space. So they're charging in now. Treekin will countercharge, but they're not an offensive-minded unit, not an offensive-oriented unit in any way, shape, or form. Just not going to be able to cut through them particularly quickly, but they are tanky. So if Highland Hunter can keep pushing onto that Bone Giant with the Firebark Elders, we see the Tree Man in the background, just keep pushing forward and tie up that Necrolith Colossus, then perhaps these Treekin will just be able to grind down the legions over time and win this in a war of attrition. Skeleton Chariot running over the Branch Wraith, but Durthu is having none of it. The Sword of Death will flash not once, not twice, but 3 times, and in those swings, 3 chariots will collapse into dust, and Durthu, on slivers of health, on life support, still in the fight, but Earthblood won't save you from a Spirit Leech. It's gonna be the end for him. Why did Durthu decide to take a nap? For rest. Kill me. Alright, so Treekin are doing a really good job, though. I mean, they're still alive. I cannot believe, after all this time, all 3 units, including the 4 units, 3 regular Treekin and the Firebark Elders are still around on the field, but he's got to be really careful about blobbing up when he charges into the skeleton warriors, because they will get kind of forced into a big blocky formation where the Casket of Skulls can land all of its shots. And the Bone Giant also has penetration against Treekin. He can go through multiple models like Leonardo DiCaprio, and that means that 2 or 3 Treekin could die in a single shot, and that's painful, man. That's super painful. That shot right there killed 2. So you cannot turn your flank to the Bone Giant, which is still by far the biggest threat to the Forest Spirit's chances of winning. Firebark Elders are coming in from behind with the rear charge, and they're rolling down the hill, closing into melee. They've got flaming attacks, so I think... Actually, no, Bone Giants aren't weak to fire. I don't think they are. So I don't think that'll be a big deal, but a full surround off on them. I mean, a Bone Giant doesn't have amazing melee stats. Can't easily cut through them, and the Tree Man's still alive. Arkhan the Black is sticking in a fight with them, which I do not agree with at all, and that's why he was at 400 HP, now he's down to 50, and he's crumbling, and this will be the end of the Lieutenant of Nagash. He's just dead. Alright, that was not ideal. I'm not sure why he felt that Arkhan the Black could take that duel, isolated and unsupported in that manner, but losing your Lord at this point, losing out on the Skeleton Summons, that's a big loss. I don't know what his wins and matchup pool was like, but I imagine he would have had enough for probably at least one more Spirit Leech before the end of this battle, and that single target DPS is a huge deal when you're trying to take down a Tree Man, or even the Firebark Elders, or the regular Treekin. I mean, a Spirit Leech would melt them, probably kill 2 or 3 models off one of the depleted ones, so definitely would have been good to have Arkhan the Black, but he is gone. He had to leave, and Casket of Souls is now dueling a Tree Man, which is also not exactly the fight the Tomb Kings want. To be fair, he doesn't have anywhere to go. The Tree Man is faster. Bone Giant is trying to push over, and with the Haymaker, just straight up Mike Tyson KOs him with the right hook. That was vicious, but the Tree Man is back on his feet. The 10 count has not counted all the way down, and now they're just gonna duke it out. Straight MMA style, straight in the octagon. Who is beefier? Who is more of a manly man? The Bone Giant is winning this fight, and the Tree Man, he also passed a leaf, so he's gonna go towards the edge of the map. He might return though, 139 HP, but they have decent leadership, so he might be able to come back to the fight. Treekin are going to finish off the rest of the Skeleton Warriors, and Tomb Guard, they're gone, and it's looking like what was a super even battle about a minute and a half ago. In the span of, I don't know, 90 seconds or so, everything changed. The entire battle flipped on its head. The high value stuff for the Tomb Kingers have started dropping like flies, and the Tree Man is coming back. He's coming back. The Branch Wraith is nipping at the heels of the Necrolith Colossus. The Tree Man is coming in from the Haymaker. The Sucker Punch from the rear slapped his ass. And that's going to be the end of the Bone Giant. Completely surrounded. Tomb Kings have lost all their momentum, and it will be Crumble City for the Khemri Ka and the legions of Nehekhara. Boom. Roasted and toasted. That's the game. Wow. So I say, never go full tree, and honestly, I agree with that assessment, but maybe do it just for the lulz and for the memes, and in that situation, it was pretty fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I've not seen a true full tree army in anything but campaign for a super long time. Even back when tree blobs were kind of a popular thing against vampire counts and some of the other factions that kind of struggled versus large targets, it was usually not full tree. It was like 80% tree, and then Earthblood could hit all of your tree men and treekin at once, and you get really blobbed up there. Doesn't work anymore, because Invocation of the Heck and Earthblood and a lot of the heals, the AoE heals, now only hit a max of 4 units. So, doesn't work as well anymore. That's why you've kind of seen it fall out of the meta. But here, against the legions of Khemri, worked out relatively decently. I think there were some misplays on both sides for sure. That happens. For example, target prioritization on the Feral Manticore from Transformation of Kadon. If he had gone for the Ushabti Grapos or the Bone Giant earlier, I think that his Tree Spirits would have taken a lot less damage. He did end up attacking the Chosen of the Gods, but it was after they had used up all their ammunition and killed off almost the full Tree Man unit and a Tree Kin unit. So I think a little bit earlier on top of them would have been good. Casket of Souls wasn't a massive threat to the Treekin, certainly not to the Tree Man or Durthu, so I don't think he needed to prioritize that as much. But the build was really fun. I got some good kills for sure, and the Tomb Kings played it okay. I mean, they had some good shots in. The Chosen of the Gods were impressive against single entities, single targets, and the Bone Giant did a lot of damage too. Not a lot of kills, but a lot of damage against the high value threat, so that was a good pick. I think the one thing he was missing was a backline sweeper like Stalkers to deal with the large threats, and you want one of those type of units anyway, even if your opponent's not going full tree. But really fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.